All right, all right, all right.
Hello, America.
We've been gone for a while.
Been a minute.
Yeah,
Been
and
a minute.
so yeah, you look like half the man you used to be.
About maybe 15% less.
With a lot of dedication.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening. I don't know if you've heard this. This is totally just off the top of my head. I was listening to a Nick Saban speech about nothing today. Okay, so
Interesting.
the whole speech is Nick Saban. You guys should Google it, look it up. It's on the Google, and it is about Nick Saban, a lecture about nothing. And what he says, no matter how many desires that you've got, if you don't put any energy towards it, you've got nothing.
So it's not really about nothing.
He said, if you no
It's
matter how
about
much,
something.
yeah, if you have no matter how much talent you got,
If you
you
don't
don't
use
basically
it,
do it,
man, I'll tell you
you
what.
got
I
nothing.
used to tell my little football players that the biggest mistake you can make is have talent and not use it and waste it.
Yeah,
That's the biggest mistake you'll make to yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think there's a pretty cool thing. I basically have do this podcast and it's lessons from coaches. I'll send it to you. And it's like 10 lessons from Bill Walsh, like lessons from Nick Saban.
That
And
would be
so it's
awesome.
all about lessons from coaches.
That'd be awesome.
Interesting thing to let you know, we're in a different environment.
Yeah. You've
And so
changed up the studio.
yeah, we made it a little bit different. There's some dogs that are going out there.
That's the fans
Yeah.
walking by.
And so what we got here, just to let you know, we're planning for the future. We created this environment so we can have a live studio audience.
Yep.
Start setting chairs out there and we can do this
It's
live.
going to be awesome.
Yeah, this is gonna be pretty good.
It's going to be funny, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So it's been a while outside of our Facebook Live stuff.
Right.
We've done some Facebook Live stuff. Still gonna do that because
Yeah.
we get a lot of followers and stuff on the Facebook.
Might be
stuff.
some of that tonight too.
Yeah, might be some of that
on,
tonight.
About an hour.
But what we've got is far as long with that, it's been some months, like before the end. We were all busy, a lot of stuff going on.
Craziness.
You retired, got a job, and
Right.
you retired, and then got a good job.
Yeah, it's a great job.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking is I have got a great part-time job and I've got hobbies that I'm going at all in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all in on my hobbies. My hobbies surf fishing and my hobbies are playing golf right now, and there's just not enough hours in the week to do.
Yeah. If you started becoming a surf fishing guide, your life would be perfect. A surf fishing guide. Someone pay you to basically that. Imagine that you and Aiden as one of your people.
Oh, dude, he'd be my first captain.
Right.
Is that what they call it? Captain or a scout, whatever. Yeah. If the fishing was better
Yeah.
along the coast here, because it's kind of at times this summer it was good, not consistent like it was 10 years ago. Like 10 years ago, man, the fishing was crazy. It's not what it used to be.
But listen, if someone, holy smoke, that's my son-in-law. He's just basically blowing me up right now. Yeah, so it's not blowing up. Leland, chill out already.
We're busy.
Yeah, we're busy.
Get a life.
But just imagine this. I know that we basically this rabbit trail turned into a dirt road real fast.
Yeah.
But imagine this. Michael Lettieri surf fishing guide and people coming over here for the weekend for vacation could book you. You could take them to Assateague. You could take them over. You could go over to the 3Rs.
Any of the
get everybody set up.
Yeah. I'll meet you at your location.
Right. You could basically you have a team of people that if you couldn't do it one weekend, you set up Aiden.
Yeah.
Make sure they come over here with no rods.
They'd be guides.
Yeah, like a guide.
What's the guy's name who's on the hunting show? Always wears a cowboy hat and a red bandana.
I don't remember.
He's got guides set up all over Canada and Alaska where people report to the guide, and the guide takes them out and does the fishing.
So, Feng and Shui audience, if you're coming for
I'll think of it. If you think of it, give us a call.
Yeah, but if you're coming to vacation over on the Eastern Shore in Delaware, Ocean City, something like that, and you basically have never gone surf fishing and you've never gone over there like that,
something you want to learn.
Yep,
that'd be awesome.
Shui or Michael basically take you out and hook you up, get you all there,
teach you how to drive your truck on the beach, teach you how to surf fish on the beach.
Yep. And so get the whole 9 yards. Make sure you get set up if you're looking to basically go into it. Aiden and our friends over at Old Inlet,
Clark,
they can get you hung up. That's where you could advertise. You could advertise with
just put a little thing in the window. Yeah. There we go. You know where else would be great? Supermarket.
Absolutely.
Because everybody goes to the supermarket. Only people that are fishing go to the Old Inlet.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So a lot of things have happened since we've been here,
Yeah.
since we've been live.
Yes.
Um, I didn't find out how long this is actually we were doing this.
Okay.
We'll make it up. It
Yeah.
doesn't really matter. I don't
Doesn't
care.
matter. Yeah.
So anything big happened since last time we got together?
Goodness gracious, big. Well,
I don't remember what our last podcast
I
was.
don't either. So what's new? All right. Part of the family's moving over this way, buying a house over here.
I heard they basically.
Shrek.
I heard it was accepted. The offer
Yeah.
was accepted.
Oh, really? So I don't even know that.
Yeah. Breaking news. Breaking news. I heard the offer for the house was accepted.
Well, there you go.
And then I believe they'll be moving closer by.
You know what's funny is that interesting. That house is furnished too. They just bought themselves a furnished house
Yeah. Guess what? I
in
think
Selbyville, Delaware.
I believe what's getting ready to happen right there. Just to let you know, is that basically just made everybody in the world happy. Congratulations to
Yeah.
Fiona and Shrek.
Yep.
Can we say that?
Why not?
I don't really
It's
care.
American.
Congratulations to Fiona, Shrek, and what is the little kid's name?
They had triplets in the movie, so he would just be like Farkle.
Oh yeah, Farkle, little
Yeah.
Farkle.
Farkle,
Yeah.
baby Shrek.
Moving closer to Big Daddy. There we go.
That's what it is.
QB, that should be our new
Daddy.
podcast. QB and Big Daddy. What do you think? That'd be so great. QB and Big Daddy.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, basically we do just for one episode. We've been, hey, QB and Big Daddy coming at you right now.
That might even be more catchy than Fung and Schwing.
Could be,
Anyway,
and people would understand what that is.
yeah.
So, well, recently we don't have to go all the way back then. Recently, anything been going on?
Goodness gracious, no. I mean, just played golf today.
Yeah, doing pretty good with the
golf tournament for the sponsored our buddy Dave Lucas. He belongs to a 55 and over softball league.
Yeah,
Sponsored that. It was over at Heritage
Acres, Heritage Shores.
Heritage Shores.
Yep.
Beautiful golf course.
Bridgeville.
Yep.
It's managed by the same people that own CFG Arena in Baltimore.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and so yeah, beautiful place. So yeah, shout out to Cheryl. So yeah, definitely go out. We do work over there.
Yeah.
So pretty
Golf
good.
course was in great shape.
Yeah.
Not as good as Bear Trap Dune.
Yeah.
But great shape. Yeah, we had fun.
Yep.
Great day.
This past weekend, you were alone.
I was for 5 days.
Yeah,
I survived.
Really?
I survived, yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean, you survived, had to go out and hunt your food or anything else like that?
No, I went right to Teeter.
Hey, listen, speaking of hunting your food, Feng Shui are thinking about doing something. It's actually your idea, and I know it's coming up.
Okay.
Okay. Because I just remembered that I have some points and some money set aside somewhere, maybe in a cigar box or somewhere, different ones. But what would you, Feng Shui audience, think about us with our own brand of moonshine? Can we do that?
Brilliant.
Boom. So we're thinking about doing some stuff here with moonshine.
In the very near future.
In the very near future,
Yes.
We're thinking about doing that.
Like next week.
Yeah, there we go.
Dear Amazon.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to be basically we're going to look into that. So if you're interested in Feng Shui moonshine,
right, if you have some experience.
Yeah, if you want to give us some pointers, We're thinking about looking into that.
Right. Suggestions on perhaps flavors.
Yep, that would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's coming up. Anything else? You were by yourself this weekend.
Right.
The Trishy was in Rhode Island.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
She went up there with
I mean,
Nan.
we should, because her dad passed away in August.
Yeah.
He's sorely missed, already.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a tough time for her. Trishy and her mom had a tough time. So, but they're getting through it.
If you guys look through some of our old podcasts, we actually usually have Cardboard Pop with us all the time. Cut out Pop. And so it was a tragic loss of Pop in August. And so still suffering through that. So yeah.
He was a good dude.
Yeah, good guy.
He was a good dude. Yeah.
Yes. Nothing against you, but he was my favorite.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay.
So I only have 2 or 3 things to talk about on this podcast today.
Go.
The first thing I was going to let you know was about the coach's inspiration thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Unbelievable, because it's interesting. So in my own life, high school football coach, I still remember lessons from them. And so 100%. I believe lessons from a coach. Even you said the other day that so whenever you're looking to actually hire someone, sometimes you have to ask them one of the questions. I've actually jotted that down to use that. is did you participate in high school or college sports? Because it teaches teamwork, teaches responsibility. And I've started using a bunch more sports analogies. I told one of my employees today, little dude, um, I told him today that basically, much like on maybe it wasn't him, maybe I told somebody else, but I told him, listen, the problem is that most people at the wide receiver route think they want to play left tackle, but they can't because if the wide receiver plays left tackle, one, he's not talented for that.
Left tackles play left tackle.
That's
wide
right.
receivers play
That's
wide
right.
receiver.
And so I just told the guy today, be the wide receiver, run your route. And then one of my estimators said, Doug, I'm going to run the route, but I need a quarterback to give me the ball. I said, trust me, my man. Trust me. I'm the quarterback. Let me get you the ball. You got to run your route.
Right.
Yeah. Get open.
Do your part.
Yeah. And so all these analogies of sports. So yeah, that's the first thing I want to tell you.
I like it.
Yeah. The second thing I want to tell you is this past weekend, I had the honor and the privilege of performing a wedding ceremony for my niece from Texas. Okay. And so anybody, if you've been married, if you've been to a wedding, I'm just going to let you know it's a stressful situation. It's stressful on people. Now,
for the family that's involved, not for the guests necessarily,
right.
But
yeah.
I've been paid for one, been to two.
Yeah. The only two weddings I know of personally that went over perfect, and it had a common denominator. Okay. Well, the only one that went over perfect that had no stress, because my daughter's wedding was fun. Danielle's wedding and Leland's wedding, perfect, but it was stressful up to the point. Up to the point.
Father of the bride.
Stuff. Only two weddings I've been to that was actually completely stressful from my point of view and went over perfect were managed by the one and only, executive producer of this show, Trish Lettieri. She is over the top whenever. So if you're getting married, if you're having a wedding,
another side business.
Yeah, Trish Lettieri is who you want on your team. So I just want to let you know. But I've got words of wisdom from a wedding. So this is what I'll let y'all know. I don't believe that anything said or done at a wedding, especially where there's alcohol involved, by the families, I don't believe that can be held against you. It's like a hall pass
in the aftermath.
I
agree.
A lot of stuff's going on at that time.
It's like you should be able for that day or two or three. You should be stepping out of reality.
We're just gonna set that aside.
And then that's that, and then we're back to reality on Monday.
Yeah, and so let's just relax. Let's just chill, get through it, and let's just do that. So my suggestion about weddings is this: that is, let it go. Just let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah, let it go. Just like that's the whole deal. Let it go. So that's my thing.
It's
hard to do.
Well, no, but there's a lot to be said in that about other applications in life.
It is. It is.
A lot to be said there.
Yeah, a lot of stressful stuff in that situation.
Yeah.
I was trying to think. There was a third thing I was going to say. I don't remember what it was. It was profound too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I forget now. There was three things. Those two were it. Or two. That might come to me. What do you got? Wisdom for the crowd.
Wisdom for the crowd. Oh, don't sweat the little shit.
Yeah.
Don't sweat it. Sun's going to come up tomorrow. You'll get through it. Don't sweat the little stuff and run your route.
Yeah. Stories then.
Stay in your lane. So check this out in the news. My buddy Tim Wiley sends me this today. It's a Twitter feed, and it's from WBAL. Story on WBAL that it's got to be this week. Maybe what's today? Thursday, probably Tuesday. Recently, there was a homicide in Howard County, Maryland. 26-year-old man gets shot to death. Well, the suspect turns out to be a kid who is 17 years old and is attending Howard High School. Now, this kid, the police go to Howard High School to arrest him when they figure out it's him and get the warrant for him for his arrest. He is currently on an ankle monitor, pending trial for
murder,
attempted murder, where he shot a dude so many times that the guy had to have like his foot amputated. So he's in the school on an ankle monitor. When they arrest him, he's got a gun in his backpack.
In a school.
And guess where the gun came from? It belonged to the victim that he previously shot. So he's keeping it like a trophy. And it's a Glock with the switch on the back. This cat is running around the Howard County School with a Glock with an extended mag with a selector switch on the back of it. Crap. And guess who didn't know The school administrators didn't know that this dude is on an ankle monitor for attempted murder and in their school.
Where's the school? I know that Tyler's out there. Our friend Tyler, that is a school. What is it called?
School resource officer.
Yeah, SRO, school
Right.
resource officer.
He didn't even know.
How do you basically not know who's in your school? How do we
I'm
not
telling you,
basically talk
man,
to people?
the slippery slope about things that you are not, and it's all because he's a juvenile, and it all goes to this the trend with that juveniles can't be charged with certain crimes and the decriminalization of certain things. That the expectation to this kid's privacy within those four walls of the school cannot be violated. It's absurd.
You know what he could have done? Had a gender transformation and paid for by the state without telling anybody to.
That's a perfect. I understand. Look, the just to entertain the more liberal side of this argument. That is the kid entitled to a high school education? Yeah, he is. If he doesn't get a high, well, look, he ain't going anywhere for the rest of his life anywhere. But homeschool his ass.
Yeah.
Right? He's on a monitor at the house, zooming. You don't send him into school.
Imagine if your kids were there.
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, I know those folks that attend Howard High School, right? Those are friends of mine that their kids used to go there, but those apples don't fall. That school district will be livid about what was walking the hallways of their school.
Yeah, Nan would have been a principal there. Can you imagine what Nan would have said?
Oh my goodness. Well, she wouldn't put up with that shit back then.
Yeah, she would just bring the dogs in for them to pet.
But yeah, he was wanted for a homicide in Colombia. He's on pending trial for attempted murder, and he's already on probation for auto theft and high speed chase, and they got a gun out of that too.
I think that there's a good chance that we can. I think if we can rehabilitate him and get him back on the right path. What do you think?
No,
no, think so?
No. I'm gonna. I mean, if I'm Vegas,
yeah,
the odds on that one are 1 in a million.
Calling sportsbook right now. We're putting some
1 in a million.
Yeah, there we go. Wow, what a mess. You got any other stories?
So
I want to ask you. I want to ask you about a story.
This is a bizarre one, and this is going to take you. It's going to take us around the loop. Okay.
All right. Stay with us.
This is going to be police time with Uncle Mike again. All right. Then I want to tell you another little funny side story too. Remind me, Tristan.
Okay, right. Tristan.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I'm working at the golf course the other day, and the snack stand closes down, and the lady says, "Hey, I have some leftover sandwiches, what you call like manwiches,
like sloppy joes.
Sloppy joes.
Yeah,
got some leftover sloppy joes. See that? Bing. All right. So right away, that reminds me of this story, this police story. This goes back to the early 2000s. I'm working at Wilkins Police Station, and I'm working with Scott Griffin, one of the best cops you'll ever meet.
Oh,
Scooter Griffin! Oh my God! One of the funniest dudes you ever meet. And every time I ever got in trouble, he was there. But his partner at the time was a guy named Danny Goldsmith. Now, they are traveling down Patapsco Avenue, and out they see a known prostitute. We'll call her Betty.
Okay.
Betty. We're not going to say her real name.
Okay.
But Betty, I first ran into Betty in like 1991, 92 at a violent domestic where I turned the corner onto Ohio Avenue, and she is standing in the street. And the guy, her boyfriend, I remember both of their full names, by the way, but he's standing next to her. The mutual damage they have done to each other is impressive. Okay, they're both covered in blood. Like something out of a horror movie. And 22, 23-year-old Mike's like, holy shit. Slump on her brakes. I wind up locking them both up, but they both had to go to the hospital. Anyway. So years later, she's a streetwalker. Scooter and Dan see her out on Patapsco Avenue, and she winds up soliciting them, and they lock her up for soliciting prostitution. She then realizes she's got Scooter in the car. I don't think she recognized him at the time. She realizes she's got him and says, I just escaped from a serial murderer. And their first response is, no fucking way. Whatever. Betty, you're full of shit. She goes, really? At which point she shows them the chains that are still around her wrists that she has tucked up under her jacket.
Really?
Okay, now starting to get some credibility. So she goes on to tell the story that she has been held prisoner inside of a tractor trailer just over the city line above Washington Boulevard and Caton Avenue in a pallet, uh,
Factory.
like a rehab where people
Yeah.
would bring pallets, they would refurb them and sell them. And this guy lives in the trailer part of a tractor trailer. He's got like a house set up in there. And she says he's had me in there for 3 days, chained to the wall, and I just escaped. So the desperate part of it is that she just escapes from a serial murderer
And solicits.
and winds up, the first thing she thinks of is I need money. So she goes down this.
Yeah.
She has no other resources. But her story rings so true that Scooter and Danny start to believe it. Right? So bring her back to the station, get her medic, get her helped out, and all the bells and whistles are being punched, sex crimes, everything's being punched. Scooter calls Baltimore City Homicide. And they must have been very, very busy that day because she also says to them, not only did he hold me prisoner, but he's got at least 2 other girls buried on the property there.
And the pallet place.
In the pallet yard. So Scooter picks up the phone, calls Baltimore City Homicide, and they must have been having a very busy day. They weren't too interested. But Scooter is a thorough, if nothing else, thorough dude.
Now works over here on the Eastern Shore.
Yes, he does. He's a Worcester County Sheriff.
Yep.
He's an SRO.
Yes.
Great place for him. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
So Scooter calls a buddy of his who's a Baltimore City Sheriff. Who now ordinarily they're not full service law enforcement over there, but he calls this guy, says, "Hey man, I need a hand. We think we're onto something pretty big, and we're not getting the response we were looking for." So this guy, and he's a plainclothes guy with them, he says, "No problem, man, we're on the way." He comes down and he sets up surveillance on this tractor trailer. Well, the suspect comes home and finds that she's gone. And he immediately goes into a panic. Now, this guy is huge, well over 6'3", 6'5", well over 300 pounds. He goes nuts. And he's looking around, can't find her. So what he does is he takes a couch that he has in the trailer, puts it in the back of his pickup truck, and drives off with it. Well, the city sheriff guys follow him, and they watch him dump it in the dumpster a couple blocks away. When he leaves, they go and look at it, and it's covered in blood. So now they're really onto something. Everything starts spinning, and city police get involved. Everybody gets involved. Tactical teams wind up taking this guy down in the pallet yard, and it is a hellacious crime scene inside his trailer. It's obvious stuff is going on in there. They then do cadaver dogs in the yard, and they find at least one girl in the ground. They find another girl in a safe. Back in the woods off this stuff. Now, guy's name is George Matheny, for those of you who don't believe the story, or Gerald Matheny, but you can Google it. Matheny had been charged with a triple homicide that occurred under the Hanover Street Bridge, where he attacked 3 homeless guys with an axe, and he was acquitted. But when he gets arrested, he confesses not only to that triple murder, but confesses to multiple murders in and around his tractor trailer. Now, here's the part. Remember how this story started out? How did this story start out?
With Scooter.
No. Sloppy Joe.
Oh, Sloppy Joe's, yeah. She had extra Sloppy Joe's.
Yes, and I could not eat the Sloppy Joe.
Right, okay.
Couldn't eat. I said, thank you, but no.
He was making Sloppy Joe's with people.
Bingo.
Oh, my gosh.
He had worked on a pit beef truck that I had gotten pit beef off of. I was very familiar with it, pit beef. But there were times where they had Sloppy Joe for sale as well. I don't think it was every time because I never saw him working there. I would have remembered him. But one of the things he confessed was that he had used victims in his Sloppy Joe recipe.
So you can't eat Sloppy Joe?
No, cannot. Can't even smell them. Can't even smell them, dude.
So all of our feng shui audience is
Now,
definitely not.
now you wonder why, right? So people say to me, Mike, what's the craziest thing that ever happened to you while you were the police? Well, I wasn't directly involved in that case. I was working with Scooter and Danny then, but go ahead and give it a goog. All true.
So I have another question. One last police story for you.
Yeah. And then you got to ask me about Tristan.
And then I ask you
Yeah.
about Tristan. You want to tell me? Oh, you want to tell the Tristan story
I can
first?
tell you that too.
Go ahead. Then
So,
we'll end with the last one.
Yeah, Tristan's my nephew.
Yeah.
Okay, he's my sister's kid.
Big guy, big kid.
Big boy. He lived down in South
Not
Carolina.
big like
No,
he's
athletic.
he's a good kid.
Yeah, yes.
I saw him. He was here.
Yes, he's been here a couple times.
Yeah.
So Tristan,
he went surf fishing.
He did.
Yeah, as a guy.
Right, first time.
Getting.
Look at that. Speaking of the devil, there's my sister telling me about his game that he's got scheduled for tomorrow.
Huh.
Anyway.
By the way, nice seeing you and your sister communicating.
Calm down, Dexter, right? All right. Otherwise, we're gonna we're gonna get into more detail about.
No, that's all right.
That's all right.
That's all right.
So, Tristan is a ninth grader. He's a starting center on his varsity team. They're currently 5-2, 4-2, playing. He's playing
down
football.
south.
Yeah, I've seen down at Wando High School in South Carolina. I've seen some footage of them.
Yeah,
they're good.
They're good.
So he's got homecoming coming up.
Yeah.
So homecoming, I immediately asked him, have you ever heard of the greatest comeback in high school football history?
For the Froggies Way audience, you can look this up. It's a fact. And just want to let y'all know, and it's now going around
October 1984. Look it up. Bayport High School versus Miller Place High School. Anyway,
yeah,
I tell him the whole story.
Yeah,
the whole story.
At halftime, what did it look like?
It was 21-0 Miller Place at halftime.
Yeah, and the team that was undefeated was behind.
Yeah, we were losing.
We were losing. Undefeated.
You go and draw it out, and I'll put it out there.
Yeah, okay.
So the group of guys that I grew up playing football with, we started in middle school.
Yeah.
We never lost a game. We were undefeated undefeated in middle school, 7th, 8th grade, undefeated as freshman, undefeated as JV. Junior year of high school doesn't count because we weren't all playing at the time.
Yeah.
Just back to senior year, at this point, we're 5-0.
Yeah.
We've never lost a football game. Anyway, 21-0 at the half.
Losing. First time in, career.
Never.
Yeah. First time in
we go in the locker room and coach says, the first words out of his mouth are, how am I supposed to show my face around town? This is an embarrassment. You guys are getting your ass kicked.
Probably the same thing that Mike McCarthy said to the Dallas Cowboys whenever he went in at halftime this past weekend.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to?
Well, I can tell you this, the response
might
have been the same because quarterback by the name of Mark Miller.
Y'all can give that a
give him a goog. Mark stands up and says, can I?
You already have.
Yeah. Mark stands up and says, fuck you. You don't live here. What do you mean show your face around town? And then he says, get the fuck out of my locker room, and throws a chair at the coach. Was it scripted? I don't know. If it was, it's the biggest genius move by a head coach ever.
And none of my coaching things did it say that was
no.
None of the things I'm looking at.
So then Mark looks around the room and looks at all of it. And bear in mind, too, that these guys I'm playing football with, we all went to kindergarten together.
Yeah.
This is how long we've known each other. Right. We've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
And Mark says, basically, I'm not going down like this. Fuck this. We're going to win this fucking football game. So we go out in the second half, turned it around. We won 22-21.
There we go. Greatest comeback.
I had a pretty good half.
That's almost equivalent. That's almost equivalent. Tom Brady, Atlanta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, they probably stole our play.
Probably so.
Anyway, as I wrapped up my text message exchange with my nephew, I said, look, here's what I'm going to tell you. The party that night was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh, it ended around dawn. Yeah. And it was just, we had a really good time. We had a really good time.
Yeah. Spin the bottle. Twister.
There was
you had all the games out.
Everything was in
Twister,
play. Everything was in play.
Yeah.
And it had already been going on after. That was one of those times that after that game that you could go into the local pizza joint. And I didn't pay for pizza.
Yeah.
I'd go to the local deli.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying for, I was getting give me a bacon, egg, and cheese on and everything. I wasn't paying for
It's
it.
been a long time ago. What year?
1984.
Yeah, just random thought by. I'm not sure because I don't know how good you are with numbers. How many yards did you have for that game?
About 150 in the second half.
Unbelievable. See right there, feng shui
Yeah,
audience.
about 12 catches, about 150 yards.
So you
A
told your
touchdown
nephew.
and a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, told your
Told my nephew
nephew,
well, this whole story.
and he believed you.
This is what he does. He calls my father and fact checks me on it.
Unbelievable.
The unmitigated gall.
He mic'd up.
He did. He went to Mickey.
Yeah, he went one step level up. He didn't
Right.
go to Mike 4,
Right.
my Mike 3.
Right.
He went right up.
Right. So my father and I had a conversation with my father. My father says, "Oh yeah, Tristan called me and was making sure you were telling me the truth." I said, "What'd you tell him?" He says, "I told him it was the truth." So then I text that little bastard and I said, "Hey man, did you call Grandpa and fact check me about the greatest comeback in high school football history?" And his response was, "Yeah." I said, "Well, what did Grandpa tell you?" He says, "Grandpa told me it was all true." I said, "You bet your ass it was all true."
There we go.
Write that down.
That was a story about the old Mike.
Yeah.
Young Mike.
Yeah, had hair.
All your
hair.
all you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mahoney.
No, I wasn't Mahoney yet. No,
Yeah, not Mahoney yet?
Didn't have a nickname then.
Oh, really?
No,
Just,
didn't have a
just
nickname.
Mike.
Just
Huh.
Mike, yeah.
But I need a story closer. Okay, a closer. You feng shui audience, you might not believe this. Okay, but in our neighborhood, in our quiet little neighborhood, Mike, in our safe neighborhood, I believe that you were threatened to have your ass kicked
Oh yeah.
in the neighborhood.
Yes, in my driveway.
In your driveway.
And I didn't do anything to deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just you were just there.
No. Yeah, so I was just so some people will know, some people will recognize. We have had a problem in our neighborhood the last 4 or 5 years with destruction of property, hooliganism, vandalism, and whatnot. And I understand where it's coming from. It's kids that have grown up here that are locals here, and they resent that we're not locals.
And a new neighborhood was built in their old playground.
In their playground, in their woods. I get it. And I'd be pissed too if I was a kid. But these kids come cruising in the neighborhood the other day, and they have a police siren and speaker in the car, and they're yelling all kinds of shit to everybody, racing through the neighborhood, squealing tires, burning rubber, all kinds of shit. Well, I was just getting out of my car, and they started doing it to me. So I just kind of looked at them as they went by, and they're saying, "F you too, mother effer. We'll kick your effing ass too." So I told them they were great. They went down the end of the block, turned back around, they come up the street. The kid stops at the end of my driveway and says, "Hey, MFer, don't you ever flip me off again or I'll kick your effing ass." My response,
That's a challenge.
"Get out of the car. Let's go. All four of you. Let's go."
Okay.
And I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It got my juices pumping.
Really?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You felt like
A little bit of roll. Felt like I was back in Lansdowne.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, back in
It's
Lansdowne.
getting real.
Right. My brothers know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there we go.
So they then squeal off. I'm trying to get in my truck
Yeah.
because I had stuff in my truck that could have come in handy.
Yeah.
Not one of these. One of these. Anyway, couldn't get in. They get up to the intersection and they start doing shit up there too. And our neighbor, Ron Densky, they almost hit him. But Ron is smart. He goes, "Well, these guys are up to no good." He gets his phone ready. So I still see them up the intersection. So I say, "You know what? They want me to chase them." And that might have happened.
Yeah.
Well, as they went speeding down, not double, but Miller's Neck.
Yeah.
Miller's Neck Road. They went speeding down there. They passed Ron. And Ron went one of these.
Always good to have a camera.
Got the plate.
Got a license.
I didn't know it at the time.
Yeah.
So I go back home and I made a couple phone calls. I said, "You know what? I probably ought to call the police and just get it documented that they came at me first. Because if they come back later, it's going to end differently."
Yeah.
Right. So call the police, state police. Delaware State Police are fantastic. Come right out. Guy says, "Man, here's the deal. I'm going to take the report, write it all up. It's basically menacing and some other things that are misdemeanors." He goes, "We're not going to have it." He says, "But honestly," he goes, "this car, I've been looking for this car for 3 years." He says, and I gave him a very specific description of a tan Subaru with stickers all over the ass end of it. And I know the license plate and it's cut down and it's got dual exhaust.
There we go.
Anyway,
In case you're looking for
in
it.
case you're looking for it in the area.
Yeah.
Anyway, he says, but I can't get the tag. He goes, but they're responsible for all kinds of destruction of property in your neighborhood. They remember right before 2 weeks ago, before this, somebody had their door almost kicked in one night. They were sitting in the living room watching TV, and it's in the newer part of the development over there where there's not a whole lot going on right now. Somebody come up and almost kicked their door in. So he says it's them. So call the police, work that all out, and I tell Trishy, I said, put this on the Facebook for the neighborhood and let everybody know this is what happened.
So just want to let y'all know this is where Trish enters the story.
Yeah.
So Trish enters the story because this is where Sleuth Trish solved the crime.
Well, if she's this is more like the Lone Ranger, and she would be Tonto.
Really, I don't think she tells the story that way
because she's wrong.
Because the way I was told this story is she solved the crime at this point. Okay.
She drinks a lot.
Very good. Very good.
So anyway, puts it on the Facebook, and right away phone starts binging. She starts getting messages of Ring doorbell video of these guys earlier in the day doing the same shit. And so then Dave Lucas, our neighbor, HOA president, shout out to Big Dave, he calls me and says, hey man, Ron Dembski's got the tag number. This is about an hour and a half after the cop was gone. So I said, send me the video. Send me the video. And this is where Trish comes in. She was able to bring it up on the phone and slow it down and blow it up enough so that the plate was there was no mistaking what the plate number was.
Yeah, she was what we refer to as CSI at this point.
Yes.
And CSI took over.
That's good analogy.
Yeah, she basically did that.
So then I called
CSI Estuary.
Right. I called the trooper back and I say, hey man, I got the plate number. He's like, awesome. Give it to him. I hear him over there. He goes, I knew this is where it was going to come back to. He goes right down to the house and he handles it in a very professional way.
Yeah.
Spoke to the parents. Parents were appalled. Got the names of all 4 kids involved. And he just handled it. And I think our problems in the neighborhood are remedied.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did get my juices pumping. I was like, because I figured, they probably would have kicked my ass, 4 of them. But I would have got I would have got a shot or 2 in.
Yeah. I think in Tombstone, don't they basically say there's a statement at the end of that whenever they're standing out there?
Yeah.
I think in Tombstone there's a statement about
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah, there you go. I think Wyatt Earp might have said.
Yeah.
You might get.
You might get me. But it'd be after I turn your head into a canoe or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. I feel safer with Trish basically.
No, but just there was no
weapons.
No weapons.
No weapons took place in this.
No.
No children. No children, cats, or dogs were harmed in the making of this.
Nobody was harmed in any type of telling of the story. Right?
So look, there you go. We've been gone for a while. We've got tons of stories. We got a bunch of stuff we're basically going to be showing all the time.
But it's funny how I probably had never told you that story about the guy in the pallet park, had I?
No, the Sloppy Joe.
The Sloppy Joe at work made me right away. I was like, oh no, I can't eat that. And it brought that story back. I said, Doug would love to hear this.
There we go. Sloppy Joe. We're going to call that Sloppy Joe. We'll put that on a tag for this.
And that's even mentioned when you Google it. Wow. That fact is mentioned in the article.
So, Feng Shui audience, we're back. We didn't really go anywhere.
Nope.
Yeah, you might not have seen us, but we're back.
Yeah,
so we're going to be doing a lot of stuff coming up. But I would end this by saying this, that I think we only have 19, 20 days left to vote. So if you're not registered to vote, go out and vote. I mean, definitely there's some things that I would tell you about voting. First of all, just Google this. No tax on tips. No tax on Social Security.
No tax on overtime.
No tax on overtime. Look at those 3 things and find out who has those policies.
And just remember something, too.
Yeah.
Broccoli. It might not taste great, but it's good for you.
That's it. And so there we go. We're going to be doing some live podcasts coming up pretty soon. We're going to be going somewhere on location, and I believe a month and a half we'll be on vacation.
Oh, golly.
And so we have a special Feng and Shui. Does he have a name? The third wheel?
Steve-O?
Yeah. Yeah. Just
Paco.
Feng Shui and Paco.
Paco.
Yeah. we're going on vacation. You're going ahead of time, so
Yeah.
you'll be away for it.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
have we might have a remote broadcast.
Oh, definitely. I'll report it live.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Feng Shui audience, we appreciate you. We've missed you. Stick with us. And hey, until next week, see ya.
You've been listening to the Feng Shui podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week.